Hello and welcome. My name is Andy Crook, and I'm your host for this training topic, all about profit centers. My mission is to help garage owners become more successful in business. And how I do that is I go live most weeks on one of the 5 pillars of business as I see it. This week, we're in the financial pillar, and we're taking on one of the oldest beliefs in the independent garage sector, and that's garage profit centers. Typically, these are labor and parts, the work and the shop, 2 neat buckets with 2 neat income streams. And some people will tell you the only thing a garage sells is labor, while others will argue passionately that a garage sells labor and parts. And on the surface, both sound rational. You could even make a case for either opinion. And there are plenty of garages that are run entirely on those beliefs. The fact that some garages are only profitable because they sell parts suggests that both profit centers can appear vital for survival. But I think it's a myth. Not because labor and parts aren't important, because they absolutely are, but because they're not what customers buy, and they're not where value is created. The more garages cling to the idea of work and the shop, the more they stay trapped in price comparison discounting and low profit thinking. So tonight we'll break the myth, fix the language, and show you the money model method, a way of pricing and presenting your services that finally aligns with the way that customers actually think. Traditional thinking looks at businesses from the wrong perspective, from the internal perspective, labor codes, parts lines, the work and the shop. And accounting has forced us to separate them. It had to, for VAT, for gross profit, cost control. But customers don't see any of that. And the moment you switch to the customer's perspective, everything changes. And that is what the money model method is about. So this topic is about doing things better. Remember, do more, do it better before doing additional. This is the foundation of the Atomic Success MBA. More, better, before additional. So we'll start off with why the work and shop is the wrong paradigm. Because work and shop is the old paradigm. A business-centric view, labor sold at X pounds per hour, parts sold at Y margin, 2 lines on an invoice, 2 lines on your profit and loss statements. Neat, structured, logical, but entirely irrelevant to the customer. Because customers don't buy labor and they don't buy parts. Customers buy outcomes. They buy safety, legal compliance, future resale value, peace of mind, trust, and certainty. Labor and parts are not what they came to your garage for. They're simply some of the ingredients in the repair recipe. So here's why this thinking is wrong. Because it suggests that parts and labor are the only commodities a garage sells. But let's use the correct definition of commodity. And it's this: a product or service that is standardized, comparable, and primarily bought on price. That's the business definition of a commodity. And under that definition, parts are commodities. Customers can compare prices, brands, whether it's aftermarket, OEM, Tier 1, etc. And Google gives them instantaneous comparisons. So parts behave exactly like commodities. But labor only becomes a commodity when garages compete on hourly rate, undercharge, discount, hide labor inside parts margin, and allow outside agents to dictate price. When this happens, both inputs, labor and parts, are now commoditized. Both can be compared, and both can be price shocked. But outcomes are not commodities. Outcomes cannot be bought online. Outcomes cannot be price matched. Outcomes cannot be replicated by non-experts. And this is the paradigm shift. The money model method changes the entire approach. From the old thinking, sell labor and parts as separate items on the invoice, to the new thinking, selling outcomes and delivering outcomes and make guarantees on those outcomes. Labor and parts are simply components of the outcome, They are not the actual thing being sold. If you ask the customer what they value or what they need, the point of sale, you can then offer differentiated outcomes. This allows differentiated price points for a similar service. And this is how you stop selling your services as commodities. Remember, the price is what you pay and value is what you get. To illustrate how this works, let's walk through 3 examples using the money model method, using outcomes. So, tires. Tires are the classic work and shop job. They are usually priced, fitted, and balanced. So the labor, if you like, is hidden inside the price. And with additional items such as valves and disposal itemized on the invoice. Traditional thinking has driven garages to price them as budget, mid-range, or premium. This commoditizes the tires and expects the customer to be able to pick the best tire suited to their particular needs. But customers don't want budget, mid-range, or premium options. What do they want? Legality, safety, longevity. So let's turn those into outcomes. And this shifts away from letting the customer decide what's best and puts you, the expert, in charge. The garage can now offer different outcomes and deliver the best value. Now, I'm not saying this works for every garage, and I'm not saying this works if you're a fast fit centre. But if you're a specialist garage that sells tyres, should you compete with a fast fit centre? Or should you offer something different? Should you offer a different outcome? So we'll start with the best offer, if you like. So tyres plus balancing plus alignment and a puncture guarantee. This outcome is maximum tyre life, even wear, better miles per gallon, improved handling, plus no cost puncture repairs for the life of the tyre. Complete peace of mind. Now, this could replace the premium offer. Tyres plus balancing plus wheel alignment. Now what the outcome is, maximum tyre life, even wear, better miles per gallon, and improved handling. Notice the guarantee is missing. This is longevity and performance outcome and replaces the mid-range offer. And the final offer is tyres and balancing. The outcomes, legal tread, safe driving, smooth ride. This is the minimum viable outcome and replaces your budget offer. This model changes the conversation from price-focused, commodity, to value-focused, outcomes. It adds value by matching the outcomes to the customer's needs rather than the customer's wants. You can see that that's a completely different approach. I'm not saying that you get it straight away, but it's just a suggestion. So what about brakes? Most garages sell brakes using ingredients, parts, discs, labor. But nobody, well, I say nobody, but we'll come back to that in a second, books a brake job because they enjoy new brake pads. But what if a customer has specifically come for you because he wants upgraded brakes and pads? What does that customer want compared to other customers? You can think about in a different way. But most customers, when they're buying brakes, want safe stopping, quiet braking, smooth pedal feel, no vibration, no pulling left or right. How can these be turned into outcomes? So once again, we go with the best of pads and discs plus a caliper service, plus a brake fluid change, plus the new disc skimmed for a squeal-free guarantee. The outcome here is guaranteed quiet braking for the life of the pads. Maximum stopping performance, best driving feel, the ultimate reassurance. Now, you could drop down a level, and then you could do pads and discs plus a caliper service and a brake fluid test. We'll change it if it's required. The outcome here is longer component life, reduced binding risk, more consistent pedal feel. And finally, the minimum outcome, pads and discs and fitting. Restored stopping power, safe braking, and legally compliant. And the difference here with outcome-based selling is it's the exact same basic ingredients packaged to create more value. It's not every customer that wants a guarantee of quiet break-in when they come into the shop. But if think about a customer that's come in and is complaining of brake squeal. Could you sell them an upgraded service? Because what do they really want? They haven't come in for brakes, have they? They've come in for you to stop the squeal. What if you were to guarantee the squeal wouldn't come back? Would they be willing to pay for more and you offer more value? It's something to think about. Now, we do work in my garage where people are actually upgrading their brakes. And we do get away with a new skim when we put them on because they don't want any vibration. They want no pulling. They want maximum performance. And we can get away with it. But that's not to say that you can. It's just how you frame the offer. So what about servicing? How do you go from checklists and reliability to outcomes? So some garages have already tried to offer outcome-based servicing. Sometimes you see them labeled as gold, silver, and bronze services. But these are a list of parts and checks that ask the customer to decide what's best. But customers don't buy checklists. They buy reliability, problem prevention, future resale value, safety, trust. When asked to decide for themselves, they will decide based on cost, not what is required. Does that sound familiar? Commoditizing and cost comparisons as opposed to selling outcomes. The money model method reframes servicing as manufacturer's compliance. It's not optional. You're now complying with the manufacturer's recommendations. If you want, you can even go beyond those. The correct maintenance at the correct time, not a menu that the customer's choosing from. And value aligned, not cost led. The outcome is manufacturer compliant maintenance. Electronic service history is what we're talking about here, so that they're not actually losing out to going somewhere else. We can do it here. We can update the online service records. Nobody has a service book. They're getting expert advice. It's value-led and a service history guarantee. Once again, the same ingredients, but a different value proposition. So why does any of this matter? When you sell labor and parts, you compete on price. Your offer can easily become commoditized. When you sell outcomes, you compete on value. Outcome-based garages will definitely earn more. Will it discount less? Will attract better customers. You will communicate more clearly and understand your customers' perspectives better. You will stand out from cheaper commodity-based competitors. You will build loyalty and repeat custom. Your staff will improve understanding of value and not the cost of your services and why it's important to get it right first time. Outcome-based garages are simply harder to copy, harder to compare, and harder to undercut. And that's the whole point of the money model method. So here's the truth. A garage does not sell labor. A garage does not sell parts. A garage delivers outcomes. And outcomes are what the customers value and where differentiation happens and where profit is created. So let's break the myth. Let's let go of the work of the shop and move towards outcomes and away from ingredients. So the atomic action for this week is consider one of the many services you currently provide and think about how you present your offer to the customer. Are you selling it as a commodity or as a value-driven outcome? If you are selling it as a commodity, what does the customer value most about that service? The old saying in sales is to sell the sizzle and not the steak. So what you need to do now is look at that service that you're selling in the old way as a commodity and now come up with 2 or 3 outcome-based offers that satisfy the customer's needs, what the customer values most. You may need to start talking to your customers. Whatever your outcome-based offer is, make sure you're promoting your expertise, knowledge, and your capabilities. So no one compare your service with theirs because you're all unique. You all have different expertise, knowledge, and capabilities. And therefore, you can't be undercut because they can't compare like for like. because no one's exactly you. No one's doing the same offer as you. Think good, better, and best, and include a guarantee on the most expensive offer to act as the differentiator. You want to give the customer a reason to choose the more expensive, more complete service, the thing that gives them as much value as possible. It also creates the most profit. So think of it like this: not tires, but all-weather performance; not discs and pads, but squeal-free brakes; not servicing, but maintaining maximum resale value. If I've made you think about how you frame your offer, then I've done my job. Remember, what's stopping you is starting. And if you should, you must. Remember, do more, do it better before doing anything additional. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time.